Tuesday. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Birdbox podcast. For those of you who haven't met us before, I'm John, otherwise known as Mr. B _birdstreetyarn on Instagram.
And I'm Clare _birdstreetyarn on Instagram, and Clary B on Ravelry.
Now, we were really debating whether to do this week's podcast or not.
Yeah.
As with everybody else in the world, I'm sure we're gripped with the devastation that's going on over in Ukraine, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And it feels quite difficult and strange to actually just do a podcast about yarn and things like that, and about what's going on with us, when our hearts and our minds and our prayers are really with everybody and all the families over in Ukraine.
Yeah, it's awful. It's just awful.
So we are going to do a podcast. I'm sure the same as everybody else. You know, emotions are very raw and up and down at the minute as we see the lives of people that are being so devastated at the moment. We recognise as well, and I've put this in the newsletter, that for many people knitting and crocheting and spinning and weaving and other handcrafts like that are still really important, if not more so.
Also,
at times like this.
The community that's built up around that as well. The people support one another, and I know so many people that have made friendships through this community, and they look to one another for comfort. So, if it feels frivolous, I'm really sorry, but if you draw any comfort from it, then great. It's hard. It was a very hard decision. Yeah.
So we are still going to talk a bit about yarn.
Yeah.
And Claire's going to share some of the things that she's been making.
Because it brings me joy.
Yeah. And consoles you, I think, as well.
It does, yes. Yeah. There's been a lot going on, and it's something I definitely turn to.
And for us, with trying to keep running a yarn business through everything that's going on, both in Ukraine and in this country, just all around the world, we need to keep doing that so that we've got the means to be able to use what we have to help other people who are in need as well. So in the show notes I will put a link through to a website where there's an opportunity for anybody to make donations towards some aid agencies in the UK that are doing what they can to raise donations to help people in Ukraine. We choose to do that ourselves in our own way, and it's up to you obviously to make the choices about how you use what you've got to help other people who are in need. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes, okay?
Yeah.
So, having said all of that, what have you been up to?
So I've been doing lots of little bits actually. When I went round just now picking up all of my little bits and pieces, it quite amounted to a fair bit actually. Not that I finished loads, I haven't finished much at all, but I have lots of other things. I decided to kind of rotate my project bags. So some stuff is in hibernation and then some other stuff has come out of hibernation.
Actually, for those of you who've watched any of our podcasts over the last few months, you'll know that it's been the ongoing saga of the project bags on the back of the sofa, which seem to be spreading all the time. And we're not sat on the sofa today. We're actually somewhere completely different, which is this is the guest room.
Which feels very strange.
There have been changes for us in the last couple of weeks as well since the last podcast. I think the last time we were talking a bit about our youngest son Dan and his partner Lucy moving out.
And they did.
They moved out. We're really delighted for them.
Yeah.
They've got a place up in the centre of Bristol, a lovely little flat, and they're just having a great time living independently now.
And they needed that so very much. But it is very strange. And then I did feel quite guilty because within 4 days of them leaving, we had wallpaper up.
And as
we
you
didn't
can
want
see,
them to go, but as they were going,
this was not what their room looked like originally. So this isn't the whole room, but this is one kind of feature wall that. Claire wanted to do something a bit different, didn't you?
Dan has lived with us for most of his life. He went to uni, came back from uni, went away to work, came back from work, and then Lucy moved in, And so this room became their life, became their everything.
Yeah.
And so they were crammed in here, and we had all of Lucy's stuff either in here or in our back room or in our garage. And even Mum and Dad have got her car on their driveway. And so when they moved everything out, the room, there was some wear and tear, let's say. Yeah, some wear and tear, just to put it politely.
Needed a bit of a spruce up.
It needed some love, and then we had to clean. We had to strip stuff out. We had to just sort it really, and so then we decided, well, we may as well decorate. So we did, and so we chose new wallpaper, which Dan walked in this room the other day and just sort of went, wow.
Did he not like it then?
I don't think he did.
Oh no.
I don't think he would have chosen it.
Well, he might not come back if it's like this anyway.
Yeah, just maybe can't come back. He'll get migraine trying to sleep in it.
Yeah.
No, I love it. He chose it.
I did.
And it's really lovely. And so
we've got lots of plans for the space, and it's
we will be getting a sofa, but we're actually sat on our garden bench. We bought it in from the garage. We haven't actually used this one yet.
No, not at all.
We've been doing our garden, and we bought a bench, and we haven't actually used it, so we decided to put it in here for now.
Yeah.
So the room does sound echoey because there's no furniture in here, but you know.
I'm really kind of watch this space because I think, you know, hopefully it will change, and this might be where we carry on doing the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just easier to set up lighting and cameras and things like that.
We called it the guest room, but it's really my craft room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And actually, we did have to move all the lights and everything out of the way today, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because we wondered, we've had some scaffolding put up as well because we're having to have work done on the house. And we did wonder what the scaffolders might think about looking into a bedroom and seeing lights and everything set up. We really didn't want to give them the wrong ideas. No. So, yeah.
Yeah. All good.
Here we go.
Let's move on. So I made a cushion. Oh,
that's beautiful.
I love it. So
tell me about the cushion then.
The cushion, I just had to buy this for our girl. And so, it's this lovely, just a panel of fabric. Actually, I bought a fat quarter of it and it only had one whole panel on it.
Oh, that's a shame.
So, yeah, I'm a bit worried about ordering a metre and only having 2 on there because it's really expensive. But, beautiful Stella Bella fabric. And I backed it with some lovely jewels fabric, which I bought in January sales, I believe.
That's lovely, I like that.
I didn't know you could buy fabric on jewels.com, but you can. And it's got a funky zip, so I can take the cushion off. And I just think that looks lush with this wallpaper. We're going for maximalist in this room, in case you hadn't noticed. So yeah, that's
your thing, isn't it, at the moment?
I love it.
I'm going.
I always thought I wanted it really simple and plain, but actually, no. This room, especially, I just think it's a spare room. It's going to be just a lovely space to hang out in if I want to, or if we want to. Why not go a bit mad? That's what I think.
You get a nice little light as well, don't we, at different times of the day. It's great at the moment today, but on a sunny day it's really lovely in here. And you can look out and just see over onto the garden. You can't
see houses really, you can just see the roofs, but there's trees and hedgerows and lovely, and it just feels quite secluded, so it's really nice. Yeah. So that's my first make, which I'm really pleased with. I love it. I'm really happy with that. I did finish a cranked pair of socks, and this is in the biggest aspidistra in the world colourway. That's really fun. That. Green.
I really love the pinks and greens on there.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I love it. So that was the pair that I cranked this week. I did a 20 round rib cuff, and yeah. So these will be for wears, because actually what I've worked out now is that I can get 3 socks out of a skein of yarn, so I can have 1 sock for a display and then a pair of socks for someone. I made Wes some socks. Wes is our eldest son. I made him some socks, but he can't. I did the rib too tight and he can't get a split in, so I made him some more and then I'll repair the other ones that I did.
Yeah.
I am practicing. I am a newbie circular sock machine knitter, and I have made mistakes, and these have got some mistakes.
But
uniquely unique.
it's getting better all the time, isn't it?
It
Really?
is, definitely.
Yeah.
So I made you a pair of socks. Again, I'm finding the 20
They're lovely.
round rib is good, and this is in the Jeff colourway by Lay Family Yarns. I love Jeff, their dog. I love them, but I love their doggy too. He's such a sweet boy.
So they've got Jeff colourway and we've got our Stella Bella.
Yeah, and there's a sock pattern out by my sister Becky. She is Bexy Norms on Instagram.
And Bex Creates.
Bex Creates podcast, although she's back to work now, so I don't know how often she'll podcast. But she has a pattern out called Stella and Jeff, and this is the Jeff colourway. So I'm really pleased with those. Yeah, they're great. So those are yours. You have worn them, but I have washed them. So I have finished some bags. Although saying that, no, I haven't finished them. I'm lying. I'm
You still got
lying.
some.
I almost finished them, then I ran out of the black twill.
Mm.
So I talked about this fabric last time and these bags that I was making. So it's really cool. This is a recycled canvas fabric, and it's got like a knit print background, and it's got balls of wool and knitted hearts and knitting needles with skulls and roses, and it's really, really cute. And I bought some safety pins because back in the 70s and 80s when my brother was a punk, he had these safety pins all over his trousers. It's quite funny now because he's a granddad.
That is really funny, yeah. What about the fabric on the inside as well?
Fabric on the inside is, it's half and half. So I do this really nice quality curtain lining in there. I just think it gives it sturdiness. And then I bought this kind of grungy, kind of oil slicky, kind of mottled, I don't know what it is, just mottled black and grey fabric, and it's got two integral pockets in there. Although in my mind, project bag is a big pocket, but some people like extra pockets. So it will be a drawstring when the twill arrives. In fact, it did arrive today, so that'll be my job tonight because I have to sit down and sew up all of the bottoms.
And how many skein projects do you think that would be
for? 3, easily. It's a nice size bag. It's got a black cotton twill bottom, and the matching drawstring channels.
You've got a great way of saying bottom.
Bottom?
Is it because it's...
It's like bottom. I could say bottom. I am from Bristol.
You could.
But I don't. I say bottom. It's like Americans when they say button. They never say button. They say button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, that's funny.
All right.
It's an observation I've made.
Yeah.
So I'm working on, I'm sorry.
Knit to live.
I
Lovely.
do talk rubbish. So I'm working on some more bags. I was going to make...
Well, actually, we've got to watch it this time because we got referred to as being like zig and zag in the last podcast, didn't we?
She said we were like zig and zag.
Maybe not quite as much madness and frivolity this time.
No.
You might also notice, if you watch the last one, we had the lights set up probably not quite right.
No.
So we were both wearing glasses at the time, and we had these kind of like owl rings in the glasses.
I can't even see it this time. No.
We've done it differently, so I don't know. Hopefully we've solved it this time.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was going to make those collie dog bags that I showed the fabric for last time, but then I remembered I had all this lovely Cath Kidston fabric, and it's got bouncing bunnies all over it.
Oh, it's got a very Easter thing.
Well, with spring and Easter coming, I thought I better not. There's a lot of fabric, and it's good quality fabric, and I need to use it. So this is Cath Kidston, and it has an eco linen sort of canvas base.
Okay.
And then I've got this lovely more jewels fabric, just sort of stripy cotton lining, and I've made some pockets, integral pockets that will go inside of there.
That almost reminds me of like a beach sun lounger or something like that. A deck chair, yeah.
It's a little bit fine for a deck chair, I would say.
Yeah.
think that'll
It's a
mess
bit more
with your eyes, wouldn't it?
sophisticated than a deck show, probably.
Well, you know,
Do you think?
I like to think so.
Well, sophistication's like your middle name, isn't it?
Well, you know me.
Sorry.
My dad did call me a posh bird once.
Did he?
Yeah,
God.
weird. I'm definitely not that. So, those are my kind of finished objects and kind of...
And works in progress.
And works in
that's
progress,
definitely a work in progress. Not quite a finished bag yet,
Oh
is
no,
it?
it's not quite finished.
No.
And that is the largest amount in one fabric I'll make. So I never usually make more than 8 out of one fabric because I get bored. But I will be making 16 of those. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of thinking about. Even down to... Oh, where's the black one? Because even the channels on these, so you've got these channels at the top that the drawstrings go in, even those are lined. So there's a lot of bits in there. You wouldn't even appreciate that that has got a printed fabric in it. But I know.
Wow. The detail counts, doesn't it?
Well, anyway, so I said last week I was going to start on my tank top because I'm doing a tank top along with Gaynor and with Sandra Cherry Heart. I don't think any of the others of the group are joining in, but anyway, I changed my mind on which one I was doing because I'd started with one that I showed and I couldn't get gauge on it. I'm not using the right yarn, but I tried to get gauge anyway. So then I suddenly remembered that I had, and I saw one on Ravelry that I really liked, remembered it was in a pom-pom magazine that I actually had on the shelf and I've had it there for 5 years. So I decided I ought to use it. So it's called Boom. Yeah, I think it's Boom, B-O-U-M, and it's in pom-pom. I think it's in their 5-year.
It was an anniversary edition,
Anniversary edition, yeah. And again, I'm not using the exact yarn, so I'm using 4-ply in our Urban Decay
I know that one.
colourway. Yeah,
So
okay.
you can-
And I'm using a Bear mohair.
Love this one.
I love it. I absolutely love this yarn. It's a very pale teal.
Trying to show it so it doesn't blow out too much in the
It's
colour.
got pops of
Hope
gold.
you can see that.
And chestnut and blue on it. So
Yeah.
I'll hold this up. So this is the beginning of the body of my tank top. So in the pattern looks really nice. It's got a round neck, but the sleeves look quite small. So I'm going to extend this part by 1 inch to make the sleeves a bit lower.
Yeah.
And I was toying with the idea of having a cropped one, but I think that might look a bit weird. Oh, I nearly pulled the stitches off then.
Close.
I'm short bodied, so I don't want it too long. So I don't think it'll take me too long. I've only got that much more to knit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I'm really enjoying it, but it's going to be slow because there's a lot of stitches.
I love the variegation.
Yeah,
of that.
the yarn is coming out really nicely with this mohair. I hope you can see it. So yeah, I'm excited to have that.
Is that a plain mohair, a neutral mohair? Yeah.
Just
Pulling
plain.
it double with.
Yeah, I did show.
Yeah.
Just plain mohair silk. It's very soft, bit fluffy. But I think Daphne will probably wear it more
You
than
could
I will.
always, if mohair was a problem for you, you could swap it for Surrey alpaca.
Just
Yeah.
we happen to have a spare one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daphne is our
Sorry, I've
mannequin.
got that one. Do you want to put that back in the project bag?
So she will hopefully be wearing that at shows.
Mm.
If I pull my finger out, oh God, mohair on it.
I used to love this fabric when you had that.
Yeah, that was one of my
Kind of-
bags. Gosh,
This
that's
was a
really
very
good.
old bag. This is a really early one.
It's an old bag. How many old bags do you need?
I'm not going to comment on that, but
No, I wouldn't. So yeah, vintage
I
camera.
love that kind of retro camera look on it.
Yeah, the fabric shop where I got it from, I don't think it exists anymore.
No, I don't think
It's really
so.
sad. It was a really ramshackle old
You
fabric
used to have to
shop.
kind of just hunt and
It
rummage,
was just
didn't you? It was great.
piled high. It was everywhere. It was rammed in, and you just had to kind of fight your way through and find what you wanted.
Yeah.
It was owned by an old lady she was not very customer friendly, shall we say.
She wasn't. You kind of felt like as a customer you were getting
Bit
in the
like,
way.
oh
didn't you?
gosh,
Yeah.
I'm an inconvenience. But I used to love going there, and I did upset her a couple of times. I didn't do it on purpose. but I think it was quite easy to do. Anyway, I miss that shop.
Yeah.
It was called the Nylon Shop. I don't think people will go there now, would they? Anyway, I'm knitting. Oh,
I think you showed that one last time.
the Simple
didn't you?
Pleasures. I don't know because
Yeah,
I didn't have much done. I'm
I
just
think
showing
you
my
did, but
progress.
you weren't very far with it. So
just showing my
this is your progress.
Works
Yeah.
in progress.
Right.
Interrupting. So anyway, this
You
is
might have a finished hat by the next
my
time.
Simple Pleasures hat. There's some mad pooling going on here, but
Yeah.
I quite like that. It's kind of a twisty, it's kind of gone that way and then it's doubling back on itself for some reason. But it's quite cool. So this is Rapscallion by Pixie Yarns and it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. I don't think it would pull normally. I think it's because it's got such a deep rib that the continuation of the yarn is kind of thrown it off. But I like it anyway. And this is for my niece, held with a charcoal grey mohair silk.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
great.
she will
I think she'll
love
love
it.
it, yeah.
With this turned up, it's going to be really funky. Kerry
Simple
loves
Pleasures.
bright colours. Simple Pleasures hat by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern. They do a line weight pattern as well. I'm doing the original one. They recommend you go down a needle size because they can come out really big. And I don't know that I'm using the right yarn anyway, so I just went down a needle size. And this is in my gorgeous little bag from Gemma, the little grey girl, and it's the softest velvet ever. I mean, I do have to cram this in because really it's a soft project bag. There's not really enough room to get all of this in and do it up. But it's pretty.
I'll take that one.
How pretty that is.
That is nice.
And, sorry, there are quite a lot because, like I said, I did a little kind of shuffle of my project bag. This is my gorgeous project bag from New at Hayden Hammer. Love this bag. John got me this bag for my 50th and he did a little yarn swap. He did a little trade with New.
And New's got the
a bag for
most
some
amazing
yarn.
jumper made out
Yeah,
of yarn.
she made an incredible jumper out of it. She was wearing it at Unravel. She looked lovely. Oh gosh, her bags. Oh, so nice. I love this bag. So I am knitting on the Pear Blossom. Yeah, Pear Blossom shawl. I don't know if I've got a picture because I'm a bit stingy with the printer ink.
I don't think you have.
So this is a pattern, the Pear Blossom shawl by Hannah Notwell of Yarnia Designs. So Hannah's done loads of designs for us, used our yarn in loads of different things, and she's a lovely friend of ours.
So put a picture up on the video?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted to make one of her shawls in my hand spun yarn because I do spin as well occasionally. I do have something on my wheel at the moment. So this is fibre from Cat and Sparrow, UK. It's really soft. I don't know what it is.
And
but
she's just gone back onto Shopify.
Yeah,
the
she's
website
just
has
changed
moved
the
across
website.
onto Shopify.
And she's
So
going to be restructuring a little bit.
we'll put the link in.
Yeah. And this is called Tiramisu, this colourway. I absolutely love it. It's
beautiful.
I mean, it's
Some nice kind of soft
it's thick and
browns,
thin. Yeah, peaches, browns, creams. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So I started, I'm going to get it the right way around now, the Pear Blossom shawl. And it's coming out like a stripe. I love it. And it's got a really lovely lace pattern in it. And lots of garter ridges and yarn overs and lovely things like that. And actually, yeah, it's really nice. I'm really enjoying that. And it's using my hand spun. I'm terrible. I make yarn and then I put it in cubby and I don't actually use it. So, is that the wrong side? Yeah. So, that is the start of the Pear Blossom shawl.
Oh, this can look great.
And yeah, it's nice. It's nice to knit with my hand spun. So, I think, we might have got through that.
That's good. That's all your works in progress then.
It
We'll have to
is.
see next time how far you've got with them.
Yes. That's the plan.
Because you do still find you've got to kind of knit for a bit and then stop, don't you? Because of how it hurts your arms.
Yeah, my arm is so much better than it was, but it's still not right. My fingers aren't right at all. But I can knit more now. And
That's good.
Yeah. I'm really, really chuffed about that. Yes. Phew.
Right, shall we jump into the kind of ideas and inspiration bit then?
Yes.
Talk about, so each time we try and pick up on a couple of different patterns and just show the pattern, show the ideas, and then give you some ideas for some yarn that could go really well with that. So this time round we thought we had a number of questions and comments when I put up a post from actually a couple of years back now, which was the Spectre sweater by Joey Locatelli, and you've got it there.
I have.
And it's a beautiful knit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a really gorgeous sweater.
The texture on the top section of it, I think.
John showed a picture of me wearing this, and we had a lot of love for that. So this, is the Spectre.
Oh, it's gone a bit dark there, isn't it?
It's the Spectre TRE on the end, not the TOR.
No, other way around.
Spectre, is it?
Yeah.
Spectre.
Yeah.
Okay, it's that one. It's got this lovely sort of lace work across the top.
Hold it up a bit.
I am.
So we can see the...
And then you work this jumper inside out, which is great because if you've noticed, there's a lot of purl stitches and then knit rib that goes through. So for those of you that don't like to purl too much, if you knit it inside out, you do mostly knitting and the odd purl in between. So it's really cool way of doing it. I really enjoyed the lace. It was really, really cool. I think I made a couple of mistakes, but I am one of those people that I can't live with that, so I have to go back and I have to fix it. I have fudged it in the past, but it's not something I like to do, and it's not something that upsets me. I enjoy knitting, so it doesn't really matter. So I did mine in Stella Bella, and that goes through to Just Rust, and that goes through to Slate, and then that goes through to Stonewash at the bottom.
I've got those essentially.
And it matches on the sleeves, and it's really nice, and I hardly ever wear it, and I don't know why.
That's these 4 yarns. Now we didn't have any Stella Bella on the shelves at the moment.
Ooh.
In 4-ply, so I've had to pick one up in a DK instead. So if I come across to here, there you go. So that's the Stella Bella through to Just Rust. I've got those the wrong way round. It then goes into Slate and into Stonewash.
Yeah, honestly, you could do it in any.
Well, we were talking about this, weren't we? And that's sort of why we said we'd pick up on that one for some yarn inspiration as well. I remember that actually we used to do some kits based on those, which we don't now, because you can just get all the yarns. The neutrals we keep bringing back every now and then anyway, and they become some of our most popular yarns. But so people were loving the kits that we put together, but there are other neutrals that could work with it just as well.
I think the reason I don't wear it so often now is because now I have grey hair. When I knitted this, I had red hair, and I don't know, maybe.
I reckon you could still wear that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, looking at the screen there.
I don't know whether I need a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe.
Let us know what you think. And then, well, let's pick up on some ideas from that then. So we were saying you could actually put together sort of any of the neutrals that we've got there. So if you're going to just make a fade, start with one of the darker ones. You could work in a variegated yarn, maybe going into the speckled yarns. So if we had Pebbles on the Beach as your starting point, you'd probably want to go a darker one than that to begin with. So something like Stonewash into Pebbles on a Beach. You could then go into something like Midnight Fox, which is that one there, and then finish off with a lighter one like Just Rust.
Yeah.
And that would make a lovely progression, lovely fade going through there.
Or you could swap out Stonewash for Old Number 7 if you're feeling brave.
Old Number 7 is, do you know what, it's one of my favourite tonals.
Or if you could
just pick up on that in all the speckles.
It doesn't really matter.
And in fact,
I guess,
so we didn't pick up an Old Number 7, not an Old Number 7, a Urban Decay. So Urban Decay is another one that we could mix in with that. You saw Clare was knitting with Urban Decay. earlier on, and that could go with any of those neutrals really.
Yeah, cool.
So the neutrals could make a really nice fade, whether it's for that sweater or for anything else.
Yeah.
Now, I've noticed actually, I would say that if we went back a year ago or a couple of years ago, so many of the most popular patterns that were out there were all using variegated yarns and speckled yarns.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been a shift towards tonals and colour work as well.
Colour blocking, yeah.
Yeah, colour blocks,
Definitely.
colour work as well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah,
I'd
it
be...
is a few years old, that pattern.
I'd definitely be
beautiful, isn't it?
waving the flag for the variegated yarns and speckles, I think. You know, when you look at a knit like that, you think that they look so great together, and you can't get quite the same effect for the tonal. So let's hear it for the speckles.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So having said that, there are a couple of others that we thought would give you some ideas for some fades that could work in that sweater or in another fade.
Did you have the two tonals at the bottom?
I think so, yeah. Start with those two. No, I think so.
Okay,
probably
so
go with those two.
Beaujolais and Rhapsody, Rosie Lee and Bronte, if you like your pinks and mauves.
Or if you wanted to mix out any one of those, you could put in...
Add in Jodie Rose. And
Jodie Rose.
Make a really light one.
So all of these here are from the Rose collection, and they're deliberately dyed up to go well together. Yep.
I think it just depends as well. I know that I feel like the problem area of my body that for me, I personally feel is around my stomach, and it's about not drawing attention to it. So I don't know that I would go for a dark band around my middle. Maybe I would go for something a bit lighter. I think maybe that's why I don't wear that sweater.
Oh, maybe.
It's not an issue for everybody. Not everybody has body issues, but some people do. And yeah, it's about how you feel it looks on you. So
well, the lighter colours would give you a really subtle fade going through, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
So you'd get to see the whole
thing rather than it drawing attention to one part, and that might be for somebody else. It might be their boobs. If they've got big boobs, they might not want to show them off quite as much and draw attention to them. So it's just about what you feel comfortable in. Yes. Oh.
Well, the other fade.
I've got it the other way around.
I think everything actually that we've looked at so far is, you know, they're the kind of yarns that are in the shop at the moment.
Yeah.
These aren't at the moment, but they are. I think they're in next week. They'll be coming back in the update. So
I've got some Medici, First Dance, Blooming Lovely, and Cinnamon Snow. This is very soft and gentle, just with a few pops of speckles on there. But yeah, nice. They look really good. I like those together. That would be a nice.
And the last one I picked out was that one. So going for certainly the darker ones together.
That's a nice subtle fade.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's not a big contrast between the dark tonal you got here. So we started off with Beaujolais going into It's My Jam, Aubergine and Hyacinth Bucket. Bouquet, darling.
Bouquet. Hyacinth Bouquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really nice actually, because then even though it's darker, it wouldn't be such a contrast. Yeah, that's really nice.
Maybe that's your answer. If you're thinking not the grey. No, you can't do another one. Okay, let me have those.
My list just keeps getting longer and longer.
And I realised actually we did have somebody ask if you could share about your hat.
Oh, I did bring my hat.
You didn't bring it here, so we might have to stop the video, go and grab the hat, and then we'll say about that one. Yeah, go.
So this was the hat I was wearing. It's a really old hat. I had it for a long time.
It's well worn, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the sock head hat by Woolly Wormhead. And I believe that I only did about half of the ribbing that it calls for. I think it needs really long ribbing. But I can't remember. This yarn was one of my very early ones. And it was called I Predict a Riot. And I love it.
I really think you should bring that back, actually.
It's really nice. It's got turquoise.
I just love the variegation you got on that.
Gold and purple and mauve.
But they're subtle as well, you know.
And they've kind of
goes so well
gone
with the
green in between. I'm very
The teal
pleased
base, I love
with
it.
the variegation. I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, I really like this hat.
Bring it back.
I feel like, yeah, it kind of goes with anything because it's so mad.
If you like the look of it, give us a shout out in the comments to say bring it back.
Bring it back, and I'll try and work out how I did
And I
it.
will work on Claire to remember how she dyed it in the first place.
I did it in the big pan, in the big round pan, and I just blobbed dyeing, and I don't.
Can't give
we
secrets
don't do
away.
that anymore. We don't use that technique.
No, we use a
anymore.
different technique now.
But it's got a nice decrease on the top. Oh, I got to get it in the right spot so you can see it.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice pattern. The sock head hat. I mean, who hasn't knitted a sock head hat? They are very versatile. And yeah, I like it. I like a slouchy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kept me warm at the rugby.
It did.
Woo, go Bears! We actually
didn't
won.
even talk about that at all.
Yeah, we went to see the rugby last Friday.
Yeah.
So we love rugby and we watch it on telly a lot. We don't go to watch rugby live very often because it's so expensive. It's crazy expensive, even for the cheap seats when you're sat like
Oh my
this,
goodness.
when you're like this and you can't move.
It was tight.
It was really tight. We were sat there. We got there really early because we were so excited, and then people started pouring in, and then this huge guy walked past. I had to stand up to let him in, and then he practically
he was
sat
really
on my
muscly,
feet
and he was sat there like
with
this.
his legs wide and his arms like
spread
this,
out as wide as
and
possible.
I like that, and he's half on my seat. And then every 5 minutes, you've got to stand up to let somebody in or somebody out. They drink 2 pints of cider or beer all in one go, and then they get up at least 5 times to have a wee in between.
Which means you can't see the game because you're standing up and sitting down all the time.
It drove me absolutely mad.
That was funny though when you managed to get up and put your hand on the knee of the guy in the row behind us.
I did.
He thought you were resting on the chair, and he thought his luck was in, I think.
He did. In fact, he said that he thought he'd pulled. Yeah. Well, we haven't been before. I didn't realise
his wife laughed as well,
tight
so it was all right.
And when you stand up, you've got to stand up sideways to let people in, and then you kind of got to breathe back. And I was leaning back, thinking I was resting on the chair behind, and it was the knee of the guy.
Yeah, that's a good story, Claire. Anyway,
and I was very embarrassed.
Can't take her anywhere.
I apologised and told him I would behave myself. That was quite funny. Yeah, so we did enjoy it, and they won.
We loved it.
And they've been on a bit of a losing streak. So
they've not been winning very much at all.
No, they've not been having.
So
they were brilliant.
We really
last
think
year,
we should go again because they might win again. Just
but I want to
there,
go to the expensive seats because there's a bit more room.
Yeah.
And so that's not an option.
Maybe not.
Because you wouldn't pay for that, would you?
No.
The long and the short of it.
Well.
So yeah.
I reckon that's about it for the ideas and inspiration. We're just going to focus on those two, I think, this time now.
I think so. Sock head hat and the Spectre sweater.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for
or
those.
Or jumper, if that's what you call it.
Oh, I know what though, actually, we also had the book come through.
Oh yeah.
We're going to run off again. Right.
So we bought the Stephen West
Painting
new
Shawls.
book, Painting Shawls book.
Yeah.
It's a brand new one. It's really nice. It's a coffee table book, really.
It came so nicely packaged as well.
Well, we ordered it from a yarn story, so it's always nicely packaged when you buy it from Carmen. We were with Carmen at Unravel. She's just lovely, and I love her little boutique yarn shop in Bath. If you ever go to Bath, you have to go
definitely.
to a yarn story. So this book is really cool, actually. I admire Stephen West. I think he is a knitwear design genius.
Talented.
He's very, very clever. His aesthetic does frighten me slightly because it's always very bright and kind of...
Well, it kind of is, yeah, but it's got some lovely... There's a section in the beginning about choosing your palette.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, which is brilliant because it does give alternatives. Yeah.
I've only ever knit one of his patterns because it's really not my aesthetic, but you can't not help but admire that. I mean, that is just absolutely incredible. It would drown me, it would wear me because it's so huge, but...
Can I read that section down there? I won't read too much from it, but I love this bit here when he says, He designed these painting shawl patterns to represent 2 favourite qualities of knitting: relaxing rows and stimulating colours. Repetitive rows are very calming, so you can memorise a pattern, repeat and knit your favourite cafe or you're watching TV. And he also goes on to talk about them as almost like a work of art.
Yeah.
So it's as if each of the sections is framing the colours that you've got inside them.
Yeah, but he gives you tips and techniques on planning your palette, which is really cool.
That section of the book is brilliant.
Lots of ideas on swatching and things like that, and how to put colours together when you've got loads of bits and bobs in your stash, or mini skeins or anything like that. And so tells you how to do that, and how he kind of says about be adventurous with your yarns. Don't think that you've just got to put merino nylon all together, or you've just got to have alpaca silk. You can mix your yarns up. Don't be scared of putting a BFL with an alpaca, or holding one double with mohair but then not the other one. Well, it doesn't matter. You're painting with yarn, and he encourages you to be really creative with your use of yarn and the types of yarn that you use. So I really like that.
I love the idea that he said about the main colour as well, about if you choose a darker main colour, that creates one effect, so it gives you an awful lot of contrast.
Yeah.
If you go with a lighter main colour, then it's less contrast, but it gives a very different look to it.
And he talks about swatching how important it is, but these little swatch things here are really amazing. I'd love to sew them all together and make a blanket, but he's got these swatch guide things on there which look really cool. They look like they're wooden lazy swatches, and you wrap yarn around them to see what they would look like. He said even when you cut all the ends off of something and put them in sort of colour piles and see how they work together, and you can even get inspiration from that. So that was really cool. And he just goes through finishing and customising your size, whether to use thicker yarn. All of the patterns are either in DK or 4-ply. It's just, it's very,
stunning,
very clever.
It?
Really clever. It's a really nice book. Quite looking forward to just sitting down. He's cast on tutorials.
It's got some amazing patterns in there, but it's a lot more than just the patterns themselves as well, isn't it?
And there's loads of different cast-ons you can do. Some I've never even heard of, and I've certainly never done, so that's quite cool. He lets you have a little peek inside the studio, and and how he designs and how his mind works, and then it goes into the patterns. I just love it. And it's probably my favourite pattern in the whole book. So if you want inspiration to use up mini skeins or stash small bits of yarn, maybe a couple of large skeins. I mean, some of them are enormous. Let me find one that I like. That is incredible. It's sort of very symmetric and it goes in all different directions. Really, really.
For anybody who has followed us for a while, you know that we do like our minis, and I keep creating mini sets all the time. So you probably find something whenever you look.
Definitely.
That you'd like to look of, or might give you some ideas for inspiration as well.
Some wraps in here, and 2 sort of really different sort of colourways. Colour progressions. You can do it your own way, whether bright is your thing or not. But it's a really nice book. It's not cheap, but
I think you'd have to sort of work your way through some of your current projects before you could take on something as big as that, wouldn't you?
That is really daunting. I've had a bad arm for such a long time, and I haven't even considered knitting anything as big as this. Does slightly freak me out. I think that bind off edge is mind blowing. That could take some time, couldn't it? Anyway, really nice book.
Lovely package in the post this week,
though, wasn't
it? It was
Stephen
great.
West.
Yep.
I know Carmen still had some in her shop.
We'd really recommend it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Anyway. So the last bit really is what's coming up. And for us, the main thing that we're going to be working on for a while now is the Advents, I think.
Thank you to everybody that bought an Advent from us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really
for that. We really do appreciate it.
Every single customer and order that we get. It's never taken for granted. And it's a big thing for us to put this up and just wait and see what happens. We could have sold 5. We could have sold... I don't know, however many, lots and lots. And yeah, it's a big deal, and it's quite scary, and especially in these times when things are just scary all over the place and coming at us from all different directions. We just never really know, but we are very, very appreciative. So thank you to everybody that bought the full Advent or the light Advent, paid in instalments or bought it outright. It means the world to us, so thank you.
It does. We always enjoy kind of curating that as well. So just like we said about from the painting shawls, but the fun of actually running some samples, trying some different ones, throwing out the ones that we don't think work, and then putting them all together,
and then working out
from a colour palette and working out what's going to work together. Yeah. We love it.
Yeah, all the bits and bobs that make
creative,
up.
I think so.
Make up the whole thing. So yeah, there's a lot to think about, and there'll be a lot to do. But we're really pleased with it, and we think it'll be a good one this year. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, thanks so much for your support.
Yes,
really do appreciate it.
Very much so. Yeah. Very, very much so.
So we got that. We'll be working on that, I think, for quite some time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything major, apart from I got a photograph of a wedding, and
we've got a wedding
before the next one. That's a week on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that as well. That's the first bit of wedding photography for a while now.
The chap getting married, we've known him since he was a baby.
Yeah. That's going to be quite special, I think.
Yeah, it really will.
Really a privilege to be a part of the day.
Yeah.
So that'd be good.
I can't think what else. There's probably loads of stuff, but I can't remember what we're doing.
Oh, there's lots of bits and pieces. Yeah. We've got work going on in the house. We're going to be
stuff in the garden.
Hopefully trying to do a bit more in the garden as well.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of sense about where we're going to plant things out. So hopefully as we go through the year we'll be able to show you how the garden develops a bit.
Take you on a tour of the garden when it's looking a bit more...
When it looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing than it does right
when
now.
you redesign your garden, redo your garden, the plants look a bit like sticks.
Once again, they all cost so much as well, so you can only afford to put a few in to start with until they start growing and spreading out, and you can propagate and so on.
Yeah, I need to plant some seeds.
I can't wait for the spring to really arrive so that we can start enjoying that and seeing things start to grow.
Indeed, it'll be great. We haven't got a holiday planned. It's a big anniversary for us this year, and we haven't planned what we're doing.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, I reckon that's about us for now. So
yeah, better go get some dinner.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Stay safe wherever you are, and look after yourself. Look after your mental health as well as your physical health, and that of those around you as well. And be kind to yourself. And we will see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.